Hello and welcome to the Life Burst Podcast set review for Stand Up Diva. Today we're going to be talking about the pieces. We've got a couple new pieces to talk about. Some of them will be making an impact, some of them won't, and let's dig into it to see what we've got. The first one is Song of Wixoss, and again, sorry that I am doing this on the wiki. I would have loved to show you guys the actual English cards, but not all of them have come out yet, so we're so close to the actual opening of set reviews, so I want to just get these set reviews out there so you guys know what you're opening. Song of Wixoss. The requirement for this piece is that you need to have a blue L-rig on your field. It's got main phase timing, it's got attack phase timing, its cost is 0. What it does is it lets you draw 3 cards, and then at the end of your next turn you have to discard 2 cards. So, is this card any good? It is technically, better than Chime of the Blessed Key, and Chime of the Blessed Key is a pretty good one. However, that being said, Chime of the Blessed Key is more versatile in the fact that you can play it in any deck, doesn't have to have blue in it, and sometimes the discard helps you. Like, sometimes you want to discard immediately, because you want something in your trash, or you want something to see the discard, like a Hijikata, and this doesn't do that. But it pays you a lot up front, with the requirement being that you've got to discard 2 cards in your next turn. It's got better attack phase timing too, because you can do it on attack phase if you need to, for example, after you've been discarded a lot, maybe you need a good Xenocluster type of effect, or if you are looking for guards, you could do this. You can also dodge some amount of removal by having an empty hand, and then attack phase timing, draw some cards. So that is another option for this. So it is sort of an upgrade, but I'm willing to say that this is sort of just a side grade. It does different roles. The best thing that you can do with this is if you're an aggressive deck, you can draw 3 cards, and by the time that the discard comes around, you will have used all of your cards already, so it won't matter anymore. If you're in one of those decks that just needs a little bit more gas, Hirana, for example, can be like that, where you run out of cards on turn 4 pretty realistically all the time, and you just need a little bit more gas to get you the last couple damage, then this card could be up your alley. One of the issues being is that this card is also needs to have a blue L-rig on your field, so you probably have other means of drawing in your L-rig deck. Therefore, you might not need this, and you might be supplementing, you might want to supplement your draw with your main deck instead of your L-rigs. For example, most blue L-rigs will draw you 2 at least once, if not twice. So it's an interesting card. I'm going to play this one down as playable. I think it becomes a little viable a little later down the line. It's less playable, but for right now, you have never really had such unfettered access to just full-on card draw effects from the L-rig deck as easily as this gives it to you. Other stuff is filtering mostly, like Chime the Blessed Key, or has conditions like Xenocluster. So this one's playable. I would consider playing it if you just need a little bit more gas. You do play sometimes these red-blue decks that just need a little bit more gas because they lean a little bit more mid-range, and Song of Wixoss can really help you there. Speaking of mid-range decks, we probably should talk about GGG. GGG is got a requirement that you need to have a green L-rig on your field. It's got main phase timing. And then during the rest of the game, you gain the following ability. During your game, whenever your L-rig grows, if it's your first grow, you get to enter charge 1. This first grow this turn. So, here's the dealio. You're not going to be able to get this off of your first grow that you do. The most that this is going to give you, or the least this is going to give you, is 2 grows. So, you're going to be growing from your L-rig to level 2, and then L-rig to level 3, and that will give you 2 enter. The real trick is that you want to maybe use this in a deck that's going to grow assist on turn 4. It's tough to grow assist on turn 5 because the game's usually over by then, but some decks aim to go that long, and if they do want to go that long, then this is a very valid option, right? For 0 enter over the course of an entire game, you could reliably enter charge anywhere from 2 to 4. That's quite a bit, right? And though, again, the downside is you need to have a green L-rig on your field. Sometimes green L-rigs have access to easy enter charge already, so you don't necessarily need a GGG. But if you are leaning for, I just need a little bit more, and some decks do need a little bit more. Some decks need, like red-green often kills lane opens with 2 enter, and you just need a little bit extra enter to get yourself there. Green also has an effect. If you enter charge this turn, X happens, and this can be a way to reliably turn on those effects. I don't know if there's a critical mass of those effects yet. The good ones are Parajulius and Osa Getsun. But when they start amping up more and more and more, if you would have enter charged, then you can do this type of thing, then this starts becoming a serious consideration. Either way, if your deck just is looking to be a little bit more enter hungry and you just need to get a little bit more enter to move your mid-range to go a little faster, this is a good option. So I'm going to put this down as playable, and I think it actually remains playable through its lifetime. You get a lot of options in the piece as time goes on, but this sort of remains a staple of easy enter. Next one we're going to be talking about is Apexed Clothed Warriors. Which has main phase timing. The cost is 0. Its use condition is that your center L-rig needs to be a level 2 or more. So this is a bit of an interesting one. It's not dependent on color. It's dependent on size. And during the rest of the game, you get the following ability. And you're going to see more and more pieces start leaning towards, for the rest of the game, you get this kind of effect. And those ones can be very good. Static effects that last for a long time can have the ability to just be like, no, I build my deck around this, not my center L-rig now, and that's important. But the ability that you get is and you gain this ability, not your L-rig. So as you gain this ability, it's very hard to get rid of players' abilities, but you gain the following ability. The Brave Signy in your center Signy zone get plus 1000 power, and that Signy gains auto. When this Signy is vanished, other than during your main phase, enter charge 1. So this is a weird one, right? This could theoretically get you 2 enter per turn rotation. The idea being that if your Signy gets vanished by a life cloth effect, right, a life burst, then you'll enter charge. If your Signy is vanished on your opponent's turn, then you'll also enter charge 1. I'm not entirely sure how you vanish your own Signy during your own main phase, or why exactly you do that. I suppose you theoretically could to get some amount of enter to do some kind of bigger effect, but that's a little strange. The Brave Signy in your center zone getting 1000 buff is not terrible, but also 1000's not really a big number. Those numbers that you're looking for is either 7000 to 8000's a little big, and then 12,000 to 13,000's a little big, and I don't know of any 4,000's to 5,000's that would make any sense, but those would be the benchmarks that you're really looking for currently in this meta. So realistically, you're using this for the enter charge. You're also going to have to do this on your level 2 Signy, or sorry, your level 2 L-rig, so again, you're not going to be enter charging quite a bit. It doesn't have any color conditions, though, so it allows you to get more use out of your stuff, but let's be honest, Brave is mostly in white and red, so you're probably thinking about using it there if you're going to use it. That being said, I don't think this is the thing that makes Brave Signy suddenly amazing. If you're looking to build Tribal Brave, sure, you've got Lancelot. Lancelot's great for that type of thing, just because Lancelot's one of the best cards that you could possibly do. But I don't think this is going to take Brave and suddenly make it super playable. I have a hard time believing that this is going to make Brave good, even if Brave gets a fair amount of support. I still don't think I would necessarily run this in my piece slot. So I'm going to put this one down as unplayable. I just don't think it's really going to make the cut in any of your decks. The next one is Life Loop Respects. You, for 0 enter, and it has main phase timing and no restrictions whatsoever. You can either draw a card, or you can pay colorless, 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 and then you can add the top card of your life cloth to your hand. If you do, you get to shuffle your deck, and then add the top card of it to your life cloth, right? So, here's the do. Oh, I'm sorry, you also get to look at the top card of your life cloth. So you're going to always be able to peek at the top card of your life cloth. And then if you decide, yeah, this doesn't have a life burst, I want a life burst effect, then you can go ahead and pay the 5 colorless to get the top card of your life cloth to your hand, and then you're going to be able to shuffle your deck and put it onto to the life cloth. So you get a random, potentially 50% chance at a life burst effect, but you don't have any control over it. You also get to take the top card of your life cloth into your hand, so it's a known commodity. So if you're like, yeah, this is integral to my game plan, I need this in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and put this in my hand. That way I've got my key card to work with. But you don't have any control over that being that case too. In the best case scenario, this is a 0 enter way to draw a card and may potentially trigger draw card effects. 5 enter to do that effect to randomize what your top of your life cloth is not good. So this is going to be put down as unplayable. There's very few cases that you're going to go, yep, this was awesome. And because there's so few chances for that to be the best thing that you can do, this card is just not good. So I would not play this card. The next one's Rasami Wraps Party. It's also got 0 cost, main phase timing, and there is no use restriction for this, so any deck can use this. When you're using this piece, you can exceed 4, and if you guys want a reminder, exceed 4 means that you can put the top 4 cards underneath your L-rigs into the L-rig trash. And then you can look at the top 5 cards of your library. You can reveal up to 1 Signy without a guard from among it added to your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom in any order. If you additionally paid exceed 4 instead, you can reveal up to 2 Signys without guards from your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your any order. So this basically is good dig. It's not quite, doesn't dig as deeply, doesn't get you as much of the things you'd like, but it does it for 0 enter, which is cool. This would be another counterpiece to Song of Wheatcross. If you just need a certain amount of things in order to get your deck going, then this could be a choice. I don't think it's very high play choice, but it again is a choice. I'm looking personally for my pieces to do a little bit more than drawing me cards, unless my deck revolves around drawing cards or revolves around trying to find things. The time that this card would be playable, and I'm going to just rate this viable right now, I don't think it's super playable, but it does have one niche case scenario where you'd like to use this, and that's if you've got some wombo combo in your deck. So if you've got the ability to find 2 cards that will interact very positively with each other, then you could use this into your deck and have an ability to be like, yep, this is what we're doing, right? So some examples from this is Nova might like Demeter, and it might like Komi at the same time. Komi will allow you to down 2 of your Signys in order to let your L-rig attack an extra time, and Demeter will allow 1 of your Signys to get Lancer. This would mean that you could, with a clogged board, still get in 2 life cloth damage. That would be a combo that could be achievable with Rasami Party. Another one might be, for example, you could run those Cosmos interactions. I am brain farting on the exact name of them right now, so sorry about that. Cassiopeia and Saturn. There we go. Saturn will allow your Cassiopeia to basically hit 100% of the time for a positive effect. Libra is also in that scenario, where you want to find 2 things, and together they're very good. Right, another one might be Royal Blue and Fenrir. These Fenrir freezes for Royal Blue. Or Fenrir, sorry, you could do Royal Blue and the new card that's coming out, Code Waffle Ice, right? Waffle Ice. That's another wombo combo that you could put together. If your deck is got a certain synergy that you really want to hit every time that I play this, I'm still going to rate it viable because it's not optimal. Yes, if this let you get what you needed every time, like Go to the Top does, then it becomes a little bit more playable. Also, combos in Wheatcross, at least the Diva format, are not necessarily so strong right now that you have things that will end the game. There's no de facto combo deck, for example, in Wheatcross. I don't think we're in a world where we're going to get that way with the way that Wheatcross works, but if we end up in a world where combo decks start becoming very strong, this would be a card that would suddenly go up in value, and I might reevaluate from viable to optimal. But this will work for you. The last one is Burning Curiosity. Burning Curiosity has got a cost of 1. It's got main phase timing. When you use this piece, you can exceed 4 for its costs. If you do, then so what you can do is you can vanish a Signy on your opponent's field. Additionally, if you exceed 4, you can exclude it from the game. Exile it, get rid of it, remove it from the game. It doesn't exist, right? That's what exclude means. That effect is good. However, being limited to opening up only a single lane in the piece zone is not great. Most pieces that we consider good open up 2 lanes. Opening up 1 lane is okay. And at 1 enter, opening up a lane is still very good. You would need to be in a deck that is desperate for lane opening for this to be good. And there are decks like that. Tamago, for example, is a deck like that. It does not do well with lane opening and might just need a cheap way to open up lanes. It might have great reversal, but that requires freezing and 5 enter, which is a lot. This just can open up a lane and get you your last victory, right? So this would be the time that you'd want to use that. If you're a little light in lane opening, then this would be something you consider. Excluding something in the game is good, but it's not so good that you're like, yeah, I need to exceed 4 every time. There are some things that you really want to exceed 4. And exceed 4, by the way, is a heavy cost. You can only exceed 4 in a game and then 3 in a game. You can't exceed 4 twice, at least not yet. We don't grow past level 2s and 3s. So right now, exceed 4 is a heavy cost. And you might want that more for your other exceed spells that you're running. But the cost is well costed in Burning Curiosity. Opening up a lane for 1 enter is good. You might want a little bit more for what your pieces do, and some decks will not need this, right? Red decks won't need this. Green decks sometimes need this. Red decks won't need this. Black decks won't need this. If you are in, for example, Tamago, which lacks those good ways of punching through, this could be a consideration. And that's all of our pieces. So if you guys want to subscribe to see more, we're going to be doing this all week. We're going to be talking about the new cards coming out, and you're going to get my unadulterated opinion on all these cards coming out.